Hey Facebook friends, how you guys doing? This is Dr. Bagley. Today is going to be a topic that is going to be very serious for us parents and single parents who are in marriage who have kids. I was talking to my guy Lopez a while back, and he had a concern because he's an educator as well as other things, but mostly he's an educator. And in his department of education, he referred to me in a situation where a child had a $1,200 phone. Um, and his concern was he knew the parents had money, but that he was concerned about the child and the child having a $1,200 phone. And so in our discussion between me, Lopez, and his wonderful wife, I tried to explain, and then at the end of it, I said I was going to talk about it. Because after thinking about it and talking about it, I realized in counseling, as a psychiatrist, in counseling to the family and kids, we can touch on the fact of suicide when it comes to why the child feels like they need to be, or they feel like they're in the suicidal position. Um, so today's topic, like I said, is going to be a very serious one. It's going to be in your face as a parent. I'm a parent. So as parents, we really need to realize what I'm about to say. So the backdrop, I had a conversation with Lopez, him and his wife, and about a child who had a $1,200 phone. And for me, taking it from that position all the way through of how a child could end up suicidal. Okay, so let's talk about it. In marriage, so let's go to the board right quick. Hey, how's everyone doing? John, Carlos, Terry, what's up? I'm gonna revert this. So everybody, let's go to the board. All right, marriage. By definition, what is a marriage? It's when a man and a woman is together. Contrary to your belief, it has nothing to do with a marriage license. It's when two people come together, they combine their financials, their emotions, including sex, their family relations, meaning two sets of parents come together and they start having kids. Okay, so in context, what am I saying? Basically, when two people, when you and another person, your mate, and again, I'm only using male and female as the backdrop or the foundation. I know where we're at in today's society. All right, sorry about the hair because I'm all jacked up today. Anyway, so the point is, when you two come together, as soon as you guys start having sex, as soon as you started doing things together, then there's going to be a position where you guys are together. Excuse me, put you there. All right, so when you're together, when you guys are together and you start having kids, think about the child's position. Child says mom and dad. Okay, if I'm a child and I'm looking at mom and dad, then I'm looking at mom and dad as how? Okay. In a divorce, we know when the two people separate. Now, again, it is irrelevant to the fact that you have a marriage license. When it comes to divorce, it is when two people separate. And let's talk about when those have kids. Now, two parents separate. One, they both have child in the same, they both have a child. And so one set of parents says, we're going to be friends and we're going to take care of the child together. The other set says, no, I'm not going to be your friend and we're not going to take care of the child. You're going to help me and I'm going to help the child. Okay, so the scenario, this is the scenario. Let me revert back to the board right quick. All right, so in a divorce is when a man and a woman separates. Then they can become friends. If they do, that's great. If they do not become friends and there's a child mixed in, what do you think is going to happen? So let's talk about, there's three things, the three topics I want to talk about is one, as a child is used as collateral, guiltiness, and boasting. Okay, so let's talk about each one. And I'm going to put you right here. Good. Okay, so if you have a child, collateral, how is a parent using a child with as collateral? We all know that the parent, 9 out of 10 times, it's more or less the mother. The mother will hold the child and says to the father, no, you can't see the child because. That's one scenario. And then that's the typical scenario that we all know about. And that is when the mom says to the dad of the child, no, you can't see the child. And the because is, for whatever reason, that's the because. Okay. Here is another scenario when the parent used the child as collateral. It's when the parent pays for the child, gives the child something, and then once they give the child something, then they look at the other parent and say, I need more money, or I need you to step up because this is what I'm doing. Okay, that is a typical scenario of collateral, using the child as collateral. And a lot of parents do that. And this is both ways, male and female. So one parent buys the child everything that the child may or may not want, and then look at the other parent and say, look at what I'm doing on the child. I think you need to step up. That's using the child as collateral. All right, let's move on to the guilty part. Guiltiness is when a parent feels guilty that they can't provide a relationship or a good relationship for the child. And out of guiltiness, the parent then will start to provide the child whatever they want. Okay, a lot of times it's above and beyond whatever they want, but at the same time, they're going to buy the child any and everything they want. Boasting. Boasting is when I have enough money and I dress up my child and I send my child off to school. My child never asks for anything. I'm just dressing my child up because that is what I can do. I'm financially fit. I have a PhD. I have a doctor's. I'm a lawyer, and I want my kids to have the best. We see a lot of this in rich families where the kids start to look a certain way because the parents have the money for them to look that way. All right. So that's the two scenarios, three subjects out of single parent and the two scenarios married into the divorce. You can be married and still use guiltiness and boasting. Dad is not home, so in replace of dad not being home, here's some money, go to the store. Boasting could be husband and wife. Boasting can simply say, here's some money, go buy whatever you want to go buy. Guiltiness is more likely out of a divorce because they feel guilty that they can't keep the relationship. So out of the guilt, they give the money even though they don't need to give the money to the child. And collateral, using the child as collateral, that is typically for a divorce because they're trying to show favoritism. A lot of times it can be in a marriage, but typically it's in a divorce. Now, here is the scenario behind that. So let me explain to this. Let me go back here. When a child becomes dependent on these scenarios here, then when the child becomes dependent, then they depend on the lifestyle that the parent gives them. Okay, so if the child is collateral, a lot of times the father and the mother, they would give, a divorce. Out of the divorce, they give the child out of collateral, they'll give the child stuff and so on and so forth. Out of guiltiness, of course, it's out of a divorce too. But then when the guiltiness, they give the child whatever they want, and then the child becomes dependent on the lifestyle. That lifestyle is how, out of guiltiness, the divorce, out of guiltiness, how the parent just gives. Okay. And then boasting. Two parents have a lot of money, then they're boasting on their kids, and then the child becomes dependent on the lifestyle that the parent gives them. Okay. Here's the problem. When they're a child, they become dependent on the parent. When they become an adult, they look for it in others to give. Okay. So What does that mean? Put you back in. Ugh. What does that mean? That means if a child is dependent on the parent to give, all right, I'm giving to my child. As soon as they get of age, teenage years, then of course the parents sometimes back off, and then it's a lot of times not. Then the child then goes out and look for another partner who can supplement what the parent has been doing. And when they can't find a supplement of what the parent has been doing, they get into a depressive state of mind. Because now they think, well, I felt good because my parent has been giving, but no one else is giving. So because no one else is giving, that is the relations of what we call love. Parent gives because of love, or they give because of guilt. They give because they're using a child as collateral, and they give because they're boasting. But the child doesn't know the difference in what love is versus what love should be. What love is now in a child giving. What a love should be is a parent hugging. But in saying all of this, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me go back to the board. All right, here's these kids. This kid right here I got off of Facebook. This kid I got off the internet, and then this kid I got off the internet. Now, these are kids, and this is what they're looking like. My question is this. We know they look like that because the child is dependent on a lifestyle that the parent gives them. The reason they give the lifestyle is because of the collateral guiltiness or boasting. The reason they do this typically is because of a divorce, if they're friends or not, or they're married and have a lot of money, then this child is irrelevant, but the child becomes dependent, and this is what the child looks like now. Let me go back. Okay. When the child grows up and starts to go to school and social makeup gets involved, the child looks like this now as a child. But what do you think they expect to look like when they grow up? And if they can't look like that when they grow up, how do you think they're going to feel? And so this is the outliner of the future of our kids in today's time. When they go to school, when they start doing these things, and the parents is doing these to the kids, and then the kids grow up, and later the parents and the kids have arguments. So the parent and the child has an argument. The child is disengaging to the parent because they're trying to be independent. And then the independency, they realize, well, who else is going to support me? When no one supports me, when no one likes me, when I can't look like I did when I was a child and got the attention, when I can't, how do I feel about that? Well, of course, depression kicks in, anxiety kicks in, all of these other, all the way down to depression. Now, if you add in the social media side of it, and they started taking pictures when they were young, and then little by little, they can't keep up with it, and no one starts to follow them or like them, guess what? Their identity, meaning they're dependent. If they don't have another dependence onto someone else, then what do we do? So I just wanted to give you this outline, is to understand for a lot of people who outside looking in, this is why parents give a child in elementary, middle school, a $1,200 phone. This is why we see some kids who have name brand clothes and trying to look good in school. This is why we have young ladies are going out there later on in life at a young age and having sex and other things because they're simply trying to keep that attention. So this is an outliner of understanding the why we're seeing what we see. The danger is behind it. The danger is when they grow up and they can't maintain the dependence of the parents. And even if they can, what kind of partner, as an adult, what kind of partner would they be, right? So that's just my outliner of what I think the reason why $1,200 phone is given to a child. Now, who am I to say right and wrong? All I'm saying is we need to understand not necessarily right and wrong, but we as parents need to understand the future of our kids. Is this really what we want our kids to grow up and think, that to love them is the dependence of the giving, or to love them is the dependence of the loving? What is a parent? What is a daughter? What is a mother? What is a wife? What is a man? What is a father? What is a husband? These are the parents' positions, to train them up, to show them, not tell them, but to show them what is these things, because they will grow up. And if they think one thing and you tell them one other thing, but if you show them one thing, they're going to copy. All right. So this is Dr. Bagley. I hope this kind of like helps with a little idea of what I'm referring to. So if there's any questions or comments, concerns about this topic here, it is a serious one, but it is a one that can be corrected over a short period of time, and then correct the long term as the child grows up. So this is, like I said, Dr. Bagley. So if there's any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Let me go back over here and finish this dang paperwork. Never ending, right? All right. Until next time, guys. Have a great Sunday. It looks nice outside, but I'm still here, so it is what it is. All right, guys. Till next time. Bye-bye.